What's up, party people? My future podcasters, my aspiring podcasters. I guess that's the same thing. My current podcasters. Hey, we are on step 4 of our 10-step series on how to start a podcast. So, welcome back. If you have not listened to step 1 through step 4, I really encourage you to go back and listen because you guys, we walk through a lot of mindset work, really foundational key things. We walked through a creative process to create our content plan, our pillars, our blueprint for our upcoming podcast. And so you don't want to miss that. That's step 1 through 3. Now, today we are going to be covering step 4. And this is where most people start is let's order that equipment. Let's get that mic. And I actually start with the mindset work on purpose because there's a lot of things that mentally and emotionally and spiritually need to get anchored in before we even go here. So that is why I don't start with this. This is why it's at step number 4. But I will tell you, it is one of the most common questions that I get from current podcasters and any podcasters that are looking to start. So that question is, what equipment do I need? So gone are the days of where you need to spend 10 to, I don't even know, thousands of dollars on a podcast studio. I mean, that was like a broadcast studio. Since I've been in this world since 2016, I have had my fair share of learning, gosh, all the tips and tricks, and it's still learning. I'm still learning. Every year I feel like it changes and it grows and it gets better. But I will say, as I have watched the progression of podcasting, it has changed a lot. I mean, I think back in 2016 we were using Skype. We were also using a mixer, all sorts of crazy equipment and a legit camera. And they have created so many things that can make it more easily accessible to people that are just everyday podcasters, and not just everyday podcasters, but we are empowering you to take your podcast and get it out there and try to make it as easy as possible with high quality. So, if you have heard me say at all during this whole series, is that I really want you to excel. I want you to bring an amazing product. I want you to bring an amazing presence into the world of podcasting. And so, as I answer this question of what equipment do I need, I want you to just filter through that of what is it that you need to present yourself well. So, with all that being said, I think now in 2024, if you're listening to this in real time, the quality matters. We had a period of time, probably in 2020, where the quality of audio wasn't that important. It was just get your stuff out there. But I would say with the influx of people that are podcasting and are putting themselves out there, that quality it does matter. So your audio quality does matter. So I'm going to always recommend that you buy a great dynamic mic. Um, and it doesn't have to be expensive. Some good wired headphones. It has to be wired. No AirPods, no Bluetooth headphones. It's just not going to cut it. It's got to have a wire to where you can connect into your microphone or into your computer or your mixer or cloud, whatever, so that you're hearing in real time and it's good quality. So like I said, you're going to want to get a good mic, some great headphones, and also, if you are going to be doing video, you want to make sure that, like I have a MacBook, so my camera is pretty decent already. You can, if you don't have a MacBook or your camera quality is not up to speed where you're at and you're wanting to use video, whether that's in shorts or reels, or you're actually posting it like this is on YouTube, then you're going to want to make an investment in a nice camera. There are some nice cameras like Logitech Pro. Those are out there that are pretty inexpensive. They're not going to put you over the edge. And yeah, just investing in something like that. So as far as like specifics, I'm always going to recommend the Shure MV7 or for a mic. Sorry, I got ahead of myself there. So we're talking about a mic. Samsung, not sung. Samsung has some mics that are really inexpensive. I think the Q9U is under $100. The Q2U is great. Those are great microphones for starting, and they sound amazing. You guys, I've had this mic forever. This is this is the Q2U. So this sounds professional. So and it's under, I'm pretty sure it's under $100. Don't quote me on that though. I will put the links to all of these. And again, these are all affiliates. So if you click on it, thank you. Mwah, mwah. And I do recommend these purely because of the price and the quality that you're going to get. Now, if you want to up your ante a little bit, the Shure MV7 is just a little bit more sleek looking, and the quality is going to be um, really optimizing your voice for your space. So you can check that one out as well. Okay. And then the headphones, it really doesn't matter what kind of over the ear headphones. I know I've had a couple of clients recently talk to me about how um, do we have to wear headphones? A, you don't want to mess up your hair. Girl, I get it. Uh, B, it's a sensory thing and you don't like hearing yourself. Um, and to those things, I would say get yourself set up, make sure that it sounds okay, and then you can just take them off. You don't have to listen. It's okay. You can keep your hairdo, you can get those earrings out, you can listen in, but I would invest in some good quality headphones. That was one of my very first gifts from my podcast host that hired me as a producer. He gave me these headphones, and I was like so flattered and so honored, and I still love on these every day. I'm here every day that I sit down on my computer. I'm like, I love these. They've actually become, this is a weird side note. Um, they're like my little sensory deprivation earphones. Like if I have to work on something, I'll put them on. So it could be a double blessing. You know, you could have them to work and also to record your podcast. So, other things to consider is, do you need a boom arm like the one, if you're watching this on YouTube, there's one right here. You can get these super cheap, maybe like $20 on Amazon. So making sure that you have a boom arm. You can place your mic on the desk depending on what kind of mic you get. The MV7 is more of it needs to go up and over. So you will need a boom arm. So just make sure that you're getting the right mic and making sure you're getting the right accessories for your setup. The other thing to think about too is you want to make sure that you are getting the right cables. For most of these mics, they should have a USB connection to where you could just play it right into your computer. An XLR is more for if you have a mixer that you're going to go through. But you know what, guys, they make it so simple now that you can just use that USB to go right directly into your computer, which is pretty fantastic. So then the question is, okay, so I have my basic equipment. I have my headphones, I have my mic, I have my computer. You're going to need a computer. I have worked with a couple of clients that have used more of like the Chromebook, which makes it a little bit more complicated. I have personally found that audio quality, for some reason, going into a Chromebook or any kind of like that kind of style, it's just not as good. So if you can have a good quality laptop or MacBook or Windows, HP, they all are great. So you're going to need a great computer to be able to function well with your audio and your recordings. So now, where do you record? Now, this is a great question for you to start to think about. Are you going to be the one editing? Or are you going to hand it off? So it's done for you or done with you. And I haven't talked about this much, but we have a whole podcast management business. Not only do we help people launch a podcast, but we also help people edit and manage and produce their podcasts. So think about now, do I have the time to learn how to edit? Do I have the energy to do the editing and promote it and write my show notes and all of those things? Those are the things that you want to think about. Now, if you decide that you want to edit and maybe you don't care about the video right now, you can download a free software called Audacity, which is where you can edit, you can record, and you can build templates for your show inside of Audacity. You can YouTube lots of different tutorials on how to do that. And you guys, we have a whole training inside of our podcast bootcamp online course on all of this. Like, we help you set up your equipment at home and we help you figure out how to edit. There are a ton of options for you to learn how to do this on your own. If you choose not to do it on your own and you want somebody else to do it, then you can record on um, things like StreamYard, Riverside, let's see, Descript, which is another editing site. But those are some other options, especially if you're wanting to use video. You're going to want to think about StreamYard, Riverside, any of those options as well. Other places that you can edit, depending on if you have an HP or what your preference is GarageBand, Adobe Audition. Those are two other editing platforms where you can record and also edit your show inside of there. And like I said, if you are wanting to learn how to edit, we do have a course on editing. It's a very short, well, I wouldn't say short, but it's a 90-minute video where my sweet husband, who is my sound engineer and sometimes my editor, he used to be a lot more editing, but we have a wonderful new editor. Shout out to Sharon, who, well, I wouldn't say she's new. Probably in the last year and a half, she's been our editor. But my husband, Joshua, loves teaching how to edit. So that is available for you if you want to take this into your own hands and really dive deep into being a podcaster. So again, I want to encourage you guys that this is just an overview of podcast equipment. This is just an overview of what you're going to need moving forward. There is so much more to talk about in this. And that's why it's really important for you to book a one-on-one call with me to see what is the best way to move you forward. Is it going to be working with me one-on-one and we set up a time to call to set your equipment up? My words are hard right now, guys. Um, and that's all part of the one-on-one podcast launch package. Or do you need something like the podcast bootcamp from idea to launch, our online course where you watch my husband do that for multiple different scenarios? So some in the Chromebook, some on a MacBook, some on a Windows computer, and all of those are inside of that course where you watch him go through and set up the preferences and the template for recording an episode. All right. So we will continue to talk about the done for you versus done with you, but this episode in particular is really just hitting on the basics of podcast equipment and what you need. And it's really simple. They have really come up with a lot of brand new audio equipment that gets the job done well, and it's not expensive. I will tell you, because I get this question a lot, because there were a lot of people that bought Yeti mics. I think there was I'm not going to name names, but there's a popular podcast host that ran a program on how to start a podcast, and she recommended a Blue Yeti. My friends, if you already have the Blue Yeti, I encourage you to sell that thing and then find one of the podcast mics that I recommended above, and buy that mic. A Blue Yeti just does not have the quality of sound that I would love for it to have. Your voice is one of the most powerful things that you're using as a podcaster. And so I want you to invest in it. I want you to get the Mercedes Benz. I want you to get the good quality Toyota. I want you to get the good quality Honda, right? Like, absolutely, there's the Rolls Royce of mics, but we don't have to go there. You can buy a very good quality mic, like a Toyota kind of mic, quote unquote, and it sound amazing. I don't want you to go to a Kia or a Hyundai, not to knock on those, they're getting better, right? But that's what the Blue Yeti in my mind is, and so I just want you to sell that thing, please, and get a mic that is going to support the powerful voice that you have to bring to the table. All right, that's it for this week. That was step 4. Next week is step 5 as we are going going to really hit on what is a hosting platform, why you need it, and which one I suggest you use. All right. So stay tuned and have fun this summer. Go outside, get some sunshine, go play with your kids, go out to dinner with your husband or your wife, and